Now, let's do a little TDD discovery. I like to use TDD to learn things when I want to figure out how different things work. Okay, so I'm going to show you how, if I was learning arrays and dictionaries, how I would do it using test-driven development. All right, let's get out of the presentation. Let's go to our code editor, get rid of this. Now, I've taken the liberty of running or copying a little bit of code in to do the test. And all I did is I copied, we created this file last time, play.test and play.js, just play. And now what we're going to do is, this is just the beginning plumbing to make sure everything's working the way it is, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that test, make sure everything works, npm test. And it's just going to run through that test. I have a sample expect statement because I can't remember off the top of my head how to do it. So now we've got our plumbing roughly set up. Okay, I'm going to create another test. And this test is going to be just to play with arrays. So I'm going to say test to learn how arrays work. All right. And then I don't need that console log. I may use it a little later. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create an array. So I'm going to go const, and I'm just going to call it array1. And I'm just going to put a few numbers in there. Okay, so I'm going to put, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. So now I have an array with 3 values in it. What can I begin to do with it? Well, let's do an expect. Now, whenever we get arrays, we often don't know how long they are. So what I want to do is I want to say I would expect that array dot, and if you notice, I can go L, and it'll show me all the values I can put in. So value.length, and I expect that to be 3. But again, I want this test to fail, because if I don't, if I just go it like that, and then I run the test again, your natural assumption would be that test has run and it has been successful. But in reality, you don't even know if it ran this code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to a 4 quickly. I'm going to run this. And sure enough, the test fails. And the test fails as we would expect it would, because it said it expects it to be 3. It expects it to be 4, but it was actually 3. So I'm going to now change this back to the answer. What are we going to do next? So I'm going to look now what is in position. Let's look at what's in position 1. Now, we all know in position 1 is a 5. So let's run this test, see what happens. And again, from the videos of Andre's, and if anybody doesn't remember this, please go through them again. We know that position 1 is actually the second position. That's position 0, that's position 1, and that's position 2 for length of 3. So then this actually should be a 6. Again, I'm going to format this just to make it look a little better. Format the document. There we go. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to run it again. All right. So now we want to do different things with arrays. If arrays have lists of things, I may want to go through those lists of things for 1,000 reasons. I may want to add the numbers up. I may want to append stuff to it. I may want to multiply it by it. I want to do it for 1,000 different things. So what I'm going to do is, let's first try to figure out how to add values to the beginning or at end of this. And again, I've got a great memory. I don't remember exactly how to do it. Let's grab I just did a search. And I just did, okay, JavaScript array add. So JS is a short form for JavaScript. And what this is telling me is there's a couple ways to append to an array. So if I want the push, that'll add one or more elements to the end of the array. Okay, so let's just try to do the push command. So by reading that documentation, I'm going to simply go ARR1 dot push, and I'm going to add the number 12. And then I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to go a log. Oops. And I'm going to print the array. Okay, what I'm going to do while I'm at it is I'm going to get rid of the console log because I want to get rid of all unnecessary. Okay, now I'm going to run it again. All right, and now if we look at the plumbing, there's a couple things that are coming out, but what we'll do is we'll have a look at, oh, I can't find the output. Where is it? Oh, there it is, right in front of me here. So what we just saw is we started out with an array that had 5, 6, and 7 in it. We then did a push of 12. We're having a look at it now, and it actually put 12 to the end. All right, so let's again copy these expects, and I'm going to update them. Well, let's just leave them the way they are, and we'll let them fail. And again, this isn't really write a test, make it fail, write a test, make it fail. It's just I want to make sure it's actually running the right test. So in this case, it says, yeah, this isn't. It's actually 4, and now that got added to the end, of course. Okay, right? Remember that 12 got added to the end? So what I'm going to say now is I'm going to say position 4 is a 12. Okay, let's try running that. All right, and you see the cadence here. Change a line, do a test. Change a line, make a test. Okay, what the heck is going wrong now? It says position 4 is actually undefined. Does that make any sense? Position 0, 1, 2, of course, it's position 3. Even though the length is 4, the actual position is 1 less than the length. So that's another trick that you got to remember is the last element in the array is 1 less than the length. You're going to learn that really the hard way. Okay, so now we don't want that. Now let's have a quick look at our documentation again, wherever it might be. And let's have a look at it and have a look. How do we add things to the beginning? The unshift method adds 1 or more elements to the beginning. Okay, so we're going to take the unshift. Okay, and we're going to come back into here, and we're going to do, let's just do the next line, array1 dot unshift, and we're going to put the value in there of 15, and then we're just going to print it now. Okay, now what do we think 15 is going to go? Where's 15 going to go? I'll just make that. Okay, so let's have a look. Running the test again. All right. Look at this. 15 went to the beginning. So 15 is in the beginning now, then 5, then 6, then 7, because we did a push to add 1 at the end. We did an array shift or unshift to put 1 at the beginning. Okay, so now I can copy these, move them back down there. I know this is 5, and what we're going to do is say position 1 that is equal to 15. I don't need to print that anymore. And we're going to run this. Is anybody speculating what's going to happen? I hope you are. Of course, position 1 isn't 15. Position 1 is 5, right? And do we know why? Again, yes. So what we have to actually change this is to position 0. I'm just going to save it. I'm going to run my tests. Okay, can anybody speculate in the last 3 or 4 minutes how many times I've ran these tests? That's the way you should be developing. Not just for demos, that's the way you should be developing. Okay, play test, play, run, test, play, run, test. Just continue to do that. Now, I'm only using the test TDD framework to learn how arrays work. Okay, so the next thing that we do is we want to actually go through these arrays. So one of the most common ways of going through an array is a do loop or a for loop. So I'm going to say for let I equals 0. And again, I is the universal index. I is less than array1 dot length again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is add 1 to I every time. Okay, and I'm just going to do something really simple here. I'm going to do a log, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out I, and what I'm going to also do is print out the value that is in there. Okay, again, let's get rid of this. All right, so now that I can actually go through, now look at what it's printing for us, okay? It's printing the index is first 0, the value is 15, the first index is 1, and then 5, 2, and 6, and it's showing you exactly what you'd expect it to show us. That's very cool. Now that I can go through every single entry, I can do unbelievable things with an array. All right, I'm going to just show you one other way of looking at an array, and this is a little more of an advanced topic. It's using callbacks. We're going to spend some time on callbacks later. Array1 dot for each, okay? And what we're going to do in this for each is a little bit different. We're going to actually, if you notice, it's telling us the callback. And so that says the first value, the index in the array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go val. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining this. I want you guys to know it exists. I've seen some people use this already. So I thought I would just show everybody so you can do it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm using an array, I'm using an arrow function. So this is a little more advanced. And what I'm going to do here is a little bit different. I'm going to actually print out the val, print out the I, and print out the AR. Okay? I'm going to actually comment this one out. We're only playing, so we can actually see what we're getting. All right. Save that, run my test, and we're going to have a look, excuse me, and see what the result is. Okay, now look what this is doing. It's quite a bit different, but as you can see, it's really quick from a statement perspective, okay? So what that does is the first thing it does, it prints the first value. So it's passing me the value without me having to subscript or anything. That's so much nicer. And then it's actually passing me the index. So see how 0? So this is 15 and 0, 5 and 1, 6 and 2, 7 and 3. And then it's actually passing me the array. Now the reason it passes me the array is because it wants us to be able to create pure functions. Pure functions are easier to test, we talked about. So in many cases, it will do things like that, where it would be really easy for us to actually access the array from outside of the loop. Okay, I think that's enough for one run. We have now played with arrays, we've defined arrays, we've added them, manipulated them, we've accessed them, and we've been able to loop through them. That's almost everything you want to do to an array. Now there's tons of functions that you can run on them to make life easy for you, but that's array processing. Okay, cool.